Thank you very much, students. Now I would like to request the dignitaries on the dais for lighting of the lamp and paying the floral tributes to Dr. B.P. Pal, sir. Volunteers.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा चक्रबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योति नमोस्तुते दिव्यादिव्याये दीपस्ता कानि कुण्डलमूर्ति दिव्यानामनमस्कार मुझे बड़े विष्णु पाशी आधा नमस्कार सर्वदेव बाहेची लक्ष्मी घरात येऊदे घरच्या सर्वांना उदंडरायुष्य सुख समाधान शांती लाभू दे.
Thank you, everyone. Now I would like to request Director Sir to welcome the speaker and the chair with the flower bouquet. Okay. I would also like to request Dean Ma'am to welcome the Director Sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to request Dean Ma'am for her formal welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Atul. A very warm good morning to the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Dear faculty, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. On the occasion of this 32nd Dr. B.P. Pal Memorial Lecture, it's a matter of humble privilege to cordially welcome esteemed chair of today's event, Padma Bhushan Dr. R.S. Paradaji, Chairman TAS and former Secretary there and DGICR, who despite his extensive travel of late out of country, very kindly considered the request of Director IARI, and he is among us to preside over this annual event. Welcome, sir. It's a matter of both pride, elation, as well as the honor for IARI to have the august presence of the DGICR and Secretary there, Dr. M.L. Jagji, who despite his tiresome engagements 24/7, has been kind enough to accept our invitation to deliver this lecture because of, sir, your passion for the science-led research and technology dissemination for Annadata as well as Mother Earth. IRI welcomes you on this campus for addressing the faculty and students on transitioning from commodity-centric agriculture to agri-food system is a must for Viksit Bharat at 2027. Thank you, sir, for your kind consent, time, and choice of topic. Welcome. It's always a pleasure to welcome our Director and Vice Chancellor, Dr. C.S. Srinivas Raoji, who again, despite his very busy schedule and extensive travel, made sure to guide us in ensuring a seamless organization of this function. All the distinguished invitees in the front row, Deputy Director Generals, ICAR, who have joined online, former Director Generals of ICR, directors of sister institutes and outreach programs present in the hall, as well as who have joined online, members and chair of the SRB, chairperson PPVFRA, ADGs of ICR, former directors of IARI, those who are here online, former joint directors and deans of IARI, and project director WTC, heads and professors. Dr. H.K. Dikshit, Professor, Division of Genetics and President, Genetics Clubs, faculty members, staff, and students. I take this opportunity to briefly mention about this prestigious lecture, as is customary for the Dean to acquaint it to the audience. In 1994, Professor M.S. Swaminathan initiated this lecture series to commemorate the contributions of late Dr. B.P. Pal. He was of the opinion that just like roses, Dr. B.P. Pal's aura and essence should always be felt in and around IRI. Dr. Pal is rightly known as father of roses and father of agricultural research system in India. Today's lecture is 28 in this series. I'm sorry, 32nd in this series. Dr. Benjamin Perry Paul had his earlier education from Rangoon University before going to Cambridge University, UK for his PhD degree in genetics and plant breeding. He joined IRI Pusa in 1933 and remained associated with this institute throughout his life. Dr. Pal became Institute's director in 1950, remained on this post till 1965, when he was appointed as the first Director General of the reorganized Indian Council of Agricultural Research and subsequently superannuated in 1971. Credit for establishing postgraduate school of higher learning at IARI goes to him. He introduced course credit and trimester system, a very much characteristic and feature of the land-grant universities, which is now being acknowledged as a key system in the NEP 2020. This institute is proud to have dedicated its central beautiful garden to Dr. B.P. Pal on 31st December 1971, as well as named IRI Auditorium and Art Gallery after him. Dr. Pal was highly decorated and honored with many prestigious awards, both at national and international levels, including the recipient of Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan. It is worth mentioning that Dr. B.P. Pal donated major portion of his personal assets and property to IRI for the cause of agricultural research in the country. My personal salutes to Dr. B.P. Pal. I once again welcome you all on this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite the director sir for briefing about the chairperson to everyone.
Good morning, everyone, and most respected Parada Saab and beloved Secretary and DG ICR, my colleagues Dr. Anupama, Dr. Dikshit, many guests who have joined, DDGs, ADGs, directors, and NAS secretaries, and all our colleagues. And also many have joined online from NARES system, universities and the KVKs and ICR Institute. It's my privilege to introduce, though introduction is not required, but it is a customary that let me take few minutes to introduce formally Parada Saab. Dr. Raj Paroda, former Director General, Indian Council of Agriculture Research and Secretary, Department of Agriculture Research Education, there, Government of India, holds a unique perspective as an accomplished scientist, able research administrator, and development practitioner. He is well known for modernization and strengthening of Indian National Agriculture Research System, NARES. Recognizing his enormous contributions in the field of agriculture research, Government of India has bestowed on him the prestigious Padma Bhushan Award in 1998. He is a recipient of several awards and recognitions, namely Rafi Ahmad Kidwai Award, ICR Team Research Award, FICCCA Award, Om Prakash Basin Award, BP Pal Gold Medal, Normal Borlag Award, Agriculture Today Award, MS Swaminathan Award, and A.P. Joshi Award, Dr. ABJ Abdul Kalam Memorial Award, Eminent IARI Alumni Award. He is also served as the President of Indian Science Congress in 2001 and President of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences 1997-2000. 21 universities have awarded him DSc Honorary Causa degree, including Ohio State University and Indian Agriculture Institute. He is a fellow of all the science academies in the countries. Another 2 minutes, sir. Academies in the country, Third World Academy of Sciences, Italy, Russian Academy of Agricultural Sciences, Agriculture Academies of Argentina, Georgia, and many other countries, and honorary member of American Society of Crop Science, American Society of Agronomy. He has recently been elected Foreign Fellow of Australian Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering. Dr. Paroda has been the founder chairman of Global Forum on Agriculture Research from 1997-2002, based at FAO Rome. He also served for more than 2 decades as Executive Secretary of IARI, FAO Bangkok. Dr. Paroda also served as a chairman, Farmers Commission of Haryana from 2010 to 2014. He was also member of Advisory Committee of ACIR, CABI, WMO, was a chairman of Board of Trustees of ICRISAT and a member of Finance Committee and CIMIC and of CGIAR. Currently, he is serving on the Board of International Fertilizer Development Center, IFDC, Alabama, USA. For the last 2 decades, Dr. Paroda is serving as founder chairman of Trust for Advancement of Agriculture Sciences, TAS, based in Indian Agriculture Research Institute, IARI, New Delhi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to invite esteemed chairperson, Dr. R.S. Paroda, sir, for briefing about the speakers for today.
Good morning to you all. Today's distinguished speaker, the Director General ICR, Dr. M.L. Jat, the Director of this great institution, IARI, Dr. Srinivas Rao, Dean Anupmaji, Professor and President, Genetics Club, Dr. Harsh Kumar Dixit, many distinguished guests, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen. I have been given a task of introducing the speaker. But first, since we have come here to listen to the Dr. B.P. Paul Memorial Lecture, that is 32nd, I would just like to mention a few things about him. Dr. Paul had been the director of this great institution for almost 15 years before he became first Director General of ICR in 1965. From 50 to 65, and I joined IARI that time in 1964. So just after my joining, then he got elevated, and that was a reorganized ICR, where all institutions from all ministries were brought under the umbrella of Indian Council of Agriculture Research. That was the first consolidation, and we were all feeling so happy and proud. And later on, in 1972, another reform took place on the basis of Dr. Gajendra Gadkar Commission. ICR was elevated to a level of secretary status for the DG through department which was created, known as Department of Agriculture Research and Education. We are happy that today we have with us the recently who has joined this position, Dr. ML Jat. About Dr. ML Jat, possibly you all by now know, he is a son of farmers family coming from Pachkodia village in near Jobner in Rajasthan. He started his journey of education from the famous SKN College of Agriculture, where somehow I happened to also be uh, teaching for a short time before coming to IARI. So my career also in a way started as assistant professor from that place, but he studied there, had his BSc and MSc, then came to IARI, again the premier institution. So first introduction is that he is alumnus of IARI. The director is also alumnus of IARI. I am also alumnus of IARI. And attaining these positions is itself a great achievement, and he has come a long way, having had his experience in systems and cropping systems research at Modipuram, and then joining the international organizations like CIMIT and later ICRISAT. He has made great contributions, practical contributions. A man of head and heart, very hardworking, devoted, and means business, and had been making his impact wherever he worked. He was associated with CIMIT for the South Asian program for Serial Systems Initiative for South Asia, where I happened to watch his performance for scaling conservation agriculture for the rice wheat system in Indo-Gangetic plains. At that time also, I could see, and when I was in Farmers Commission of Haryana, I could notice how actively he was involved in working with ICR institutions and also with the with junior scientists and a great team builder. I could see that he encouraged a great strength and good team around him, and the work done by them was quite impressive. He was working from behind to support them to grow, and also for diversification of farming system. The conservation agriculture today is covering about 5 million hectare area in India out of 10 million hectare that we have in Indo-Gangetic plains. It is, I think, to a large extent, we can provide the, contribution provided by Jat. And later he joined the ICRISAT as director of Global Research Program on Resilient Farm and Food Systems. There he again excelled and was selected as Deputy Director General at ICARDA, which he declined, and continued his work at ICRISAT only. And there then, beside the director's position, he also was officiating as Deputy Director General for some time before the regular director, Dr. Himanshu Pathak, joined. He is a very articulate in his presentations, in his thoughts, and means business. Works very hard, as I said before, and his publications are impressive. As I could see from Google Scholar citation of 23,000 and H index of 82, one can really understand what he has achieved. Also, he is a fellow of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, fellow of Indian Society of Agronomy, and he has received Rafi Ahmed Kidwai Award, Simit Recognition Award, and all the scientists and director generals with whom I had been interacting had full praise for him. And whether it is any scientist from Australia for their program in South Asia for scaling conservation agriculture and promoting laser leveling had been possibly his great achievement. I would say laser leveling today is a revolution. And recently on my field, I got my field laser leveled. $15 per hour. The charge is there. It is on customer basis. And for 1 hectare, you require about 5 hours. So roughly 6,000 rupees I spent. But then it saves you 7 to 10% of water for all through. So you can imagine the kind of so man of action on ground. This is what I would like to say, and more humble, more respectful to the system, and committed, and has exposure of both Indian system, ICR system, and also of the international organizations. And I think in that context, he brings that perspective for bringing in reform in our ICR system, which is no doubt one of the best in the world, but requires now a special care and nurturing, and require better and respective and responsive leadership. And in him, I see that we have good future, not only for himself, but for ICR and for all of us. So I won't take long. We have to listen to him, and nothing would have been better than to have a speaker today on this occasion for honoring our great leader, Dr. B.P. Paul, with whom I established a great rapport after I joined as director NBPGR, because he was in my selection committee. And no doubt we were students, but at a student time, there was distance. You couldn't, and then he moved to ICR. But till he died, I had personal relationship because I lived in Khelgaon, and he was very near to that, and he's a great man. He gave all his property to the institute. You won't find an example of this kind. So we are today honoring him, and I hope we'll continue remembering. I myself delivered the 22nd BP Paul Memorial Lecture, which means 10 years before. But things are moving, things are progressing. ICR is moving, IRI is moving. IRI Alumni Association has been revived, and we are proud that alumni of IRI are taking newer responsibilities, and hopefully would continue supporting IRI as well. So, floor is yours now, Dr. M.L. Jat.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request the esteemed speaker of today's program, Dr. M.L. Jat, sir.
Suprabhat, chairman of this session, our mentor, our visionary leader, a well-wisher of the NARS, Padma Bhushan, Dr. R.S. Parodaji, Director of IARI, Dr. Srinivas Rao, Dean, Madam Anupmaji, Dr. Dixit. I see my teachers, Dr. A.K. Singh, Dr. P.K. Singh, Commissioner Agriculture, Government of India, Dr. Sadamate ji, Dr. G.P. Singh ji, Dr. Lakda ji, Madam, my friend Bhattacharya ji, Dr. Dhyani ji. I start taking name of everyone. Faculty, researchers, colleagues, friends, and Swaminathans, Parodaj, and Pal sitting on the back. Dear students, first of all, my sincere thanks to IARI, to Genetics Club, for this opportunity. And it's unique. Madam, you mentioned this was initiated by late Bharat Ratna, Dr. Swaminathan ji, and nurtured by Padma Bhushan, Dr. Paroda ji, and he was a Padma Vibhushan. So Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and delivering a memorial lecture on Dr. Pal is more than a Bharat Ratna for me. I try to choose a topic which I feel is very, very important for our future. Before coming to the topic, my tribute to Dr. Pal, who not only have contributed to the science and human resource development, but also donated what he had to IARI. When we talk about farming, it's a serious profession. The profession which needs sincerity, the profession which needs dedication, and it's a profession of pride. And when we talk about science, agricultural science, then we need to think what we are contributing, to whom we are contributing. They're contributing to the humanity. We are luckiest people in this world that we are contributing to a profession which is the basis for the humanity, the agriculture. Our country have placed for a Viksit Bharat under the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister. A Viksit Bharat, the vision to transform the country into a self-reliant and a prosperous economy by 2047. And when we talk about Viksit Bharat, we look at the pillars of the Viksit Bharat, that will tell us what we have to do. Sorry. So the four pillars are directly linked to agriculture. Yuva, the youth, sitting on the back, they have to sit in the front. Now bringing them from the back to the front need efforts. It's not simple. Poor, the garib, in rural areas, on the farms, how to take out them from the poverty, empower them, need our dedicated efforts. Women, Mahilaएं, they have to contribute. And it should not be like a word, women empowerment. We should mean it. And that's why I say we need more women leaders in the system. And the Annadata, our loving farmers. If we can't contribute to those four, we can't achieve Viksit. Therefore, agriculture or agricultural development is the key or the foundation for a Viksit Bharat. Now, if that is the case, then we should feel pride that we have an opportunity to contribute to the Viksit Bharat through agricultural science, innovations, education, extension. So let's capitalize on this opportunity and contribute to Viksit Bharat. But we also need to see the challenges. The situation when we had Green Revolution was totally different than the situation what we have today and what we foresee for the future. There are emerging mega trends globally. And I'm repeating those, you all know about those mega trends. The environmental degradation is a serious problem. And when we talk about environmental degradation, it includes many things. Biodiversity loss. We've been talking, but we haven't realized what we have lost. When I go to my village and request my mom, ये चौलाई चाहिए देसी वाली जो होती थी खेत में अब नहीं है. We are losing. And so if we don't take care, we'll be in a problem. We are already in a problem. You know, to talk about climate change word. When I was a student, we were taught climate change was a fancy word. It's no more a fancy word. And just talking is not going to help us. We have to act and act now. Otherwise, we will be lost. The young population, I can take it both ways. We can take a pride, we are almost youngest country. But it's a challenge how to translate that challenge into opportunity through agriculture, through agricultural profession, entrepreneurship, business opportunities. And I think we need to think seriously how to empower youth in agriculture. We have produced enough, but still there is a lot of disparity. More of from the perspective of the nutrition. We have seen what healthy food can contribute during the COVID. I think nutrition is something very, very important. So it's not the time for quantity, it's a time for quality. We have made excellent efforts, significant progress, lot of new science, but long way to go. We have to understand nutrition from a larger perspective. And in that context, the consumption patterns are changing. When I was a child, we haven't had any market-based food. Now 60% is market-based. That's where we are heading to. The local food systems are out of the plate. So it's not only the malnourishment, but the obesity is also growing. That's another challenge because of the imbalance. And there is a lot on the gender and social inequalities. It's all across. Now, whatever we do, we need to think about these mega trends. Not in isolation, but from a perspective of a system. There are a lot of economic shifts, and we have seen recently the geopolitical aspects. Everything has implications on agriculture. Trade tariff war is going to impact our systems, the crops, cropping systems. We have to prepare ourselves for that. The environmental pressure is surpassing our planetary boundaries. And it's coming from all across. But I think agri-food system is also contributing significantly on that pressure, much more than what we think. Globally, it's 1/3 of the total emissions. Maybe we have less, but it's contributing. And when I say agri-food system, it includes complete value chain, not only production. Production is just one aspect of that value chain. So we are rapidly moving beyond the boundaries of the planet. In 2009, we crossed 3 planetary boundaries, and we are making rapid progress on a negative side. In 2015, we crossed 4 planetary boundaries. And in 2023, we crossed 6 planetary boundaries of the 9. And we'll be crossing all other boundaries. And many of those are related to agriculture and agri-food system. Look at nitrogen, look at phosphorus. And we have a role to play. We have to think about how to stay within the planetary boundaries, which is impacting climate change, as I said. It's real. And look at the 2024 climatic extremes in India. And this report says 93% days of the first 3 quarters in 2024 had one or the other kind of climatic extreme. Impacted people and impacted 3.2 million hectares of the acreage. 35 out of the 36 states and union territories, we experienced those risks. And you can see which quarter what. So there are floods, there are droughts, there are heat, cold, all those kind of aspects. We have to work to address those. And I'm not saying we are not working. We are working. So whatever good we do, we have to appreciate and acknowledge. And I'm doing that. This is the science, the hard work, the dedication of all of you. We are building resilience in the crop sector. If you look at the food grain production in a normal year versus abnormal year, 2001-2, we had 212 million tons. 2002-3, we had an abnormal year. It dropped down to 174 million tons, a huge loss. 8-9 was a normal year, and 9-10 abnormal, again it dropped down. 13-14 was a normal year, 14-15 abnormal, but progressively the reduction was not as vast. And from 2020-21 onwards, consecutively 3 years abnormal, still our production is going up. It's not a miracle. It's a science in the background, which you all have contributed. People have to appreciate this. That we are working towards making Indian agriculture resilient. This has come from hard work on developing the resilient varieties and the innovative management practices, a combination. That's one side. But at the same time, we also need to look at our natural resources. How well we are treating those. Water, soil, environment, biodiversity. So this is one good success side of the story, but the other side is not cozy. That's why we need a system. We need a systems research, not silos. Glorious past with significant achievements. I am not going to read all those numbers. You all know about those. But we take pride, as the Honorable Chair mentioned, from there to here. It was not simple. We haven't had a lot of good resources to do research. Now we are better. So the expectation of the country is more. And we have to come to the expectation of the country. So with this glorious past, we have to think about the challenging future. And the future is water. 54% districts face high to extreme water scarcity as of now. Tomorrow it will be more if we don't act now. Land degradation, different numbers coming from different sources, but 100+ million hectares. And there's a different kind of land degradation. We haven't considered soil compaction. What we have done to the soil over past couple of decades through the shallow tillage and rotary tillage and compacting soil, and what is the impact of that compaction on nutrient use efficiency, on water retention, on infiltration. It's a serious problem. So soil health is not in a good condition. The malnourishment, the women health, income disparity, greenhouse gas emission, total number may be less, but it's growing. More intensification, more area under irrigation, more fertilizers, certainly will give us the boost on the productivity side. It will have its negative impact as well. And obviously, the growing climatic risks, the economic pressure, and all those aspects. So we can't live with that. That was done by our leaders. Now we have to play our role to address the other side. The part of the problem is how we have indulged into this problem. From a system to the disintegrated silos. In 1980, we had one ministry, Ministry of Agriculture. And then in 1980, we created a Ministry of Irrigation from the same ministry. Then we created Food and Civil Supplies Ministry in 1983. Then we created Ministry of Environment and Forest in 85 from the same ministry. Then we created Fertilizers and Chemicals Ministry in 1991, and also the Rural Development during the same year. Then we have created Food Processing Industry Ministry in 2001. And then Fisheries and Animal Husbandry in 2019, and finally cooperatives. Now, what we were doing in one ministry, the integrated program, now we got 9 ministries. So this disintegration is happening on the one side. On the other side, the complexity is growing, the challenges are mounting. We can't address those with these silos. We need more integration now than ever if we're really serious in addressing those challenges. We started discussing, we can't merge the ministries, but can we have a coordination among all the ministries to improve efficiency, to take out redundancy? We can make our efforts. We have to do. They're all interlinked. Water and fertilizer can't be isolated. If there is something wrong happening to the water, there is something happening to the nutrient use efficiency. So I think we need to think from a system, a bigger picture. So friends, the time is running out and running out faster. And business as usual is not going to help us. We need business unusual. And we need immediate actions. Otherwise, we will be lost. And in that context, we have to transition from the silos to the system. We can't afford to be in silos. And those silos not only at the ministry level, those silos within the same institution. 5 people working on the same aspect, not talking to each other. We can't work like that. We have to bring our strengths together. We have to work like a one system, one team for the country. And in that context, we need a shared vision and collective action. And that shared vision and collective action for advancing the agri-food system science, participatory innovations, partnership, and stakeholders' capacity for building resilient food, land, and water systems to ensure nutritious and healthy food while protecting, conserving, and restoring the ecosystem. And this includes everything. We all are doing something around that, but in isolation. We have to come together, work together as a system for the system science. So for this transition to happen from a commodity-centric agriculture to the sustainable agri-food system, the priority areas are sustainable production, And we are putting 90% of our efforts and energy and resources for that. Sustainable environment, a little bit. Sustainable livelihood, a little bit. Sustainable nutrition, a little bit. But in isolation. They are not talking to each other. And there's a connect. Until we connect those four, we can't achieve sustainable agri-food system. So we have to connect those dots. And they can't be connected until we connect to each other. It's a very complex slide. But I think the action is towards the agri-food system. We have to optimize the economy, health, and environment. So we have to work on optimizing the production domains. And when I talk about production domains, we have to use the multi-criteria assessment. Different indicators of the sustainability from one perspective, one indicator, just production or productivity is not going to help us. So we have to deploy the multi-criteria assessment tools to define the production domain, what is sustainable where. Integrating sustainable natural resource management, bringing all those nutritious, diverse, healthy food, the local food system. Market-led research. In our bylaws, in ICR, it's also written market. We are not doing much on the market research. It's a missing link. We have to focus. There are new opportunities coming. Ecosystem services. And I think the value chains. So, friends, we have to transition from eating enough and well to eating nutritionally and sustainably. Sustainable production and responsible consumption. That's what is required. And to do that, we have to reorient our research, bringing focus on a system. We have to repurpose our investments and the policies, subsidy to incentives. And there was a committee constituted by the PSA to the Prime Minister led under the chairmanship of Dr. Prodhaji. It came up very clearly that the subsidy business is not going to take us toward the path of the sustainability. We have to think about incentivizing the efficiency. Subsidy is for inefficiency. I'm not against any farmer. We have to support them. We have to give them all the support. But how to channelize that investment for the efficiency is very, very important. Fertilizers, water, whatever aspects. We need to think about circularity of the system, circularity of the food system. We have a lot of wastage because we don't work in a system. We work in isolation. My job is done, I have produced, now it's your job, you deal it. We also need to think about how to strengthen our local food system. And I was with the PSA and he was asking how about barley and millet system, bringing them or mainstreaming them, making a mission for health, nutrition, climate action, all those aspects. There are people who are thinking about it. And they're all local food system. I have grown up eating pearl millet and barley. And we were happy. we have to think about. We are moving toward a glamorized crops. The breeders want to work on the rice, on the wheat, on the maize, but don't want to work on less glamorized. I think we need to bring those back. We have a perfect example. Our leader, a visionary person who worked on forages, not a glamorized crop. You can excel if you are putting your dedicated effort wherever you are working. And I think from that respect, the cross-sectoral convergence, as I indicated, which is very, very important. We also need to have a mechanism in place how to tracking the progress. We don't have a mechanism of media in this organization, the monitoring, evaluation, learning, and impact assessment. If we are not clear how we sell what we have, how we show our impact. So I think we need to develop a mechanism to tell with authenticity, this is what we have contributed. We have examples, 48,000 crores of basmati. We have to create other examples. We have many examples. Everybody is creating example, but we are shy in communicating. And I think policymakers need that communication to appreciate what we do and increase the investment. Another complicated slide, how we move on a system from the plot to the farm to the landscape to the value chain, all interconnected. We are primarily at the plot level. It's not going to take us long. We have to make a move to the landscape and the value chain. And I think in that context, we have to design system, identifying the opportunity, looking at the challenges. Challenges will not come in isolation. They come with opportunities. So we have to prioritize. We have to look at the demand side, supply side, and trade side while designing the system. And we talk about systems, farming systems. I don't want, or we don't want, or we should not, that every farmer have 1 acre and we put 5, 7 enterprises in the same 1 acre. Where the surplus will go? Why we want every farmer to produce everything what they eat? I think we need to think about specialized farming zones. Looking at the biophysical, socio-economic, all aspects on the trade side toward the sustainability and design the system and connect the system so that whatever produce is where produce is there, they connect and there is a market linkages. Market is a big problem for the farmers. And then integrate all the science tools, techniques for designing that system and looking at the outcomes and the impact. We have to develop theories of change of the organization and the institutions, where we want to go and how we go. We should be very, very clear. That again need active participation, engagement of everyone. We have to co-create, not creating in isolation. We have to co-create what we do together with our stakeholders. If I'm working for someone and that someone is not aware what I'm doing, I should not expect that the person will accept what I'm telling. So that's what we really need to do. Another example, we need a unified approach. This is one example on the climate risk management. So if you look at the risk analysis, but then we have to have the participatory prioritization. We cannot impose n number of things. There are 100 things to do, we can't do. We have to prioritize And that prioritization need to be done with those stakeholders, the farmers. And once we have done the prioritization, we also need to think about return over investment on what we are proposing. And that need, again, a complete systems approach, a value chain approach, having all stakeholders across the value chain. Another example of a system, the regenerative landscapes. The systems approach for building the resilience. And this is what work we've been doing. And when I say we, I was in ICRISAT, but then ICAR together in Bundelkhand. And we have seen the transformation happening. And I would encourage you to go and visit and see and talk to the communities how transformation is happening through the systems approach. The evidence coming from the larger geographies. And what we propose to address those mega trends, the farmer income we are talking doubling, is tripling. The water tables, when you say going down, they are coming up. And I'm not talking about 1, 2, or 5 or 100 wells. I'm talking about thousands of the wells where water tables have come up. The base flow of the water system have improved. The ecosystem services, the emission intensity is going toward a tipping point of the neutrality. The cropping intensity have increased. The land degradation is reduced. Fallow area sustainable intensification is happening. The most importantly, if you design a landscape, it's not water conservation and soil conservation. How to make use of that water. So water budget-based designing of the system. Bringing trees into the system. And if you have trees into the system, that will regulate your temperature. So what we talk about 1.5 degrees, it's already regulated there. There is a way to do. But this needs multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, multi-stakeholder, community participation. So friends, our strategy for transition, for that transition is we need quality science, no compromise. Science-led transformation of agriculture. The system science for agri-food system transformation. We truly need to focus on One Health. If we can address One Health, we can address everything. But at the same time, we have to bring that convergence greater, but at the same time, pooled resources. We can make better use of those resources rather than using those resources in isolation. We also need complementing partnerships across. And the last one, which is very, very important, is science of delivery. It's not simple extension, the linear. There's a whole lot of science in delivery because you have to change the behavior of the people to accept. And the change of the behavior needs science. To deliver a technology, you have to make technology-led business models that need science. You have to link your science with the investment plans of the government so that you can deliver. You have to put your science in the goals of the country. And that needs a lot of science. We have to work on that. And I was talking about the boundaries. When we talk about agriculture, it's just not agriculture. Energy, transport, and agriculture are all interconnected. And they are impacting the 3 Ps of the sustainability, the people, the planet, the profit. If we deal agriculture in isolation, transport and energy in isolation, we may or may not be able to reach where we want to reach. So I'll not go to the complexity of this framework, but I think we need to look at left and right. And if you look at just left and right and just talk, then three of you got three new things which you don't know. That's what we have to do. So we must change the way we think, not what we do, but how we do. So in that respect, we really need to move away from the disconnections to the interconnections, from the parts to the wholes. Parts are not going to help us. From a linear system to the circular system. And from analysis to synthesis, from the silos to the emergence, and from isolation to the relationship. We've been doing, but the way we do has to be changed. And nobody else will come and change. We have to change ourselves together. So friends, with that background, a paradigm shift is needed in agricultural research for development to achieve the goals which are critical for a Viksit Bharat. And in that context, we have to make a self-sustaining, client-oriented, and a performance-based, reward-focused organization for impact at scale on those three P's of the sustainability: the people, the planet, the profit. That's what we have to do. And how we do it? One NARS. Let's look at the current landscapes. Let's look at the strengths and the strains of the current landscape. Let's map the strengths, take out the redundancy, improve the efficiency through one NARS. Research prioritization with a focus on transdisciplinary approach. We have to look at the demand side of the research, not the supply side. We have to look at the market-oriented, diversity-centric research and then deploy the new frontiers, the genome editing, the AI, the ML, the IoTs, whatever you talk. Before we work on those, we need to see that. So we have to prioritize. The system-focused research at agroecological regions. One size doesn't fit all. There is no silver bullet. So we have to design our research. And that's why I'm talking about one NARS. We are a national organization. There are regional with good knowledge. We have to integrate them to cater the need of that region, those specific niche areas. And in that context, sustainability first. And we have to co-create the innovations. And that co-creation is together with the stakeholders. We have to develop a robust data ecosystem. And we are working on it. A data policy for the organization. Because when you talk about AI and all those analyticals, the background is data. And nobody wants to share the data, which we can understand. But data is generated using the national resources. It's nobody's property. It's a national property. But we have to have a mechanism in place for data sharing so that we don't reinvent the wheel and make use of the data. We have to breed for tomorrow. Breeding for tomorrow. And when I say tomorrow, we are talking about regenerative agriculture, we are talking about natural farming, we are talking about organic agriculture, we are talking about intercropping. Do we have breeding program for that? I was in Madhya Pradesh day before yesterday, and farmers were asking, we have started working on natural farming or organic agriculture, but do you have a variety? Because the first year it's okay, second year, then there is a shrinking of the grain and we are losing yield. Farmer is asking us. We have to develop the program. So breeding for tomorrow is a focus in addition to what we are doing. We have to think seriously about quality of human resources. And we have to build a robust agricultural education system. Because that's the foundation, capacity, the human resource. Those who have invested in human resource development have made success stories. And you know the examples. If there was no NATP project, I would not have been here. Because that gave me exposure. So we have to reorient our agricultural education. Tech-enabled extension. We talk about digital, long way to go. Let us be practical. That application in the mobile is not going to help us. So we have to be practical. And that connects to the science of delivery. We have to make actionable business plans for our organizations, institutions, with a robust media so that you can track. And I have requested all the directors to translate our vision documents of 2050 into actionable plans. We have to translate our vision into action aligning to the Viksit Bharat. And once we translate all vision document, then we will see where is the redundancy, how we bring them together, how we make like a one system for the country. And in that context, I think we need reform for improving the efficiency and accountability, for enhancing the output. And we have to link the country goals to the institutional goals, to the people's goals. You can't work in isolation for yourself. We are working for the country. So if my goal is not contributing to the country's goal, my job is not there. So we need to go beyond our traditional boundaries in that respect. We have to reach out. Let's go out of the room. Look at left and right. You will find something. ICAR is well placed to be ICAR International. There is no international institutions having that much capability. We have to raise our visibility. And for that, we need a strong communication. And I can see Director of DKMA sitting in middle. We have to go a long way. We don't have a communication strategy as of now. We are working on it. We don't have a gender strategy. We are working on it. We don't have a data policy. We are working on it. And the deadline is 16th July. Those will be released in the Foundation Day. We are working on increasing investment, and our leadership, Honorable Minister, is seriously and sincerely working how best he can support us in increasing investment for research. And we are confident that we will get there if we make a robust plan. And certainly the governance, we have to improve. We have to create enabling environment for ease of business. We are working on it. I hope we'll reach there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. It was an eye-opening lecture for all of us, and we'll try our level best to follow the paths that you have shown today. I would like to request all the audience to give a standing ovation to the speaker today for his outstanding talk. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to request the chairperson of today's program, Dr. Aris Puroda sir, for his remarks.
Students, please be seated at your places. The vote of thanks is read out. Students, please be seated. We must have that manners at least.
Let's have patience for a few more minutes. Well, it had been real treat. I hope you will agree. And a fresh outlook for ICR International, a new vision and a new hope. No doubt challenges were all described, and we are aware of those, and we need not work in silos. We'll have to work more in a systems approach that was brought out very clearly. And not only just talk, but what we say is walk the talk, time for action. And system is strong. We have performed. We need to address the challenges that are before us, and we need reorientation. I think messages were very clear. And for that reorientation, one person alone cannot do. So it has to be joint approach, support of all. Time is running out. Business as usual will not work. There are many issues and points. I would not like to make it long, but I would say that there had been a lot of new focused ideas and suggestions for action. Time has come to reorient our system. And when sometimes it becomes big, the challenges of what was mentioned, the ministry was disintegrated. I hope ICR doesn't get disintegrated. We have to guard against that. And that is a major challenge. And that can be only guarded when family is unified and united. And we believe in, I recently came from China. I can only tell you what progress they have made. We may say we are also making progress, but they are far ahead of us. Why? Because there is a decision-making system which is not questioned. And the action is taken and implemented on ground. And there is no silo. So we have to, what we say, think globally, but now act locally. And we have to have leaders like ML. Thank you for bringing out these all new hopes and new thoughts. And in that home taking messages, which I can see that we have to make our agricultural education system much more robust. integrate it with the new education policy, and see that quality, not quantity, is important. And also see that youth is trained not all for white collar jobs, but youth for job creation as entrepreneurs, as good extension agents. Also, we have to think in the context of gender strategy was very well defined. He, in the beginning, mentioned, was also feeling concerned. Very few directors of institutions or leaders in the system. Whereas in the universities, when you go and see, more than 70% now students are women. There is some disconnect, and we will have to think of and what is that. Leadership is important. So building leadership also will require leaders like two sitting here, three I see, four I see, and many among you who can take this battle further. And challenges don't come alone, they come with opportunity. So if our yields are low, we will have all the hope to excel others by increasing, whereas they don't have any expectation of further increase. So how do we move forward? There has to be now a clear agenda for Viksit Bharat, which means each one or each institution should have a real look at their Vision 2050 documents and must come out with action plan. I think this would, because I recollect when I had joined, we started with Vision 2020, and every institution had come out with. And no doubt, we have come a long way, and we can keep our head high that we have attained. And there are hopes relating to paradigm shift to make it one Naresh. One Naresh is already there, but there are forces trying to disintegrate. That I think is one point. And we need to nurture this Naresh much more carefully, effectively, and guard against. And once I asked Dr. Swaminathan, again my mentor, guru, that, sir, what do you think about agriculture research system? And he said, Raj, I wish scientists did not just waste their time in criticizing others. We should do our own job and business rather than trying to find fault. And we don't try to look self. When there is a weakness among yourself, you try to criticize others. So that part, I think, also has to be taken into consideration. The expectation to contribute in the national economy through agriculture. We are aiming for, I understand we have recently also crossed Japan and become now fourth in the global economy, from fifth to fourth. We need to be third soon and contribute 5 trillion, which our Prime Minister is aiming. And of that, the current 18% GDP from agriculture has to be increased to 20%, so that we make it 1 trillion coming out of agriculture. And that will come when this holistic agenda, which ML has projected, is in place, and we all move together jointly. It It is not time for quantity, it is time for quality. And I could see that the kind of corporatization system that is emerging in the countries who have progressed much faster. It is again quality, value chain, which was said, marketing, take advantage of global markets. There are challenges, but I also see opportunities because our export has come to almost 55 billion, and I have no doubt that in next 1 decade we will cross 100 billion. Then finally, I would say ML in you, we see a hope and dynamism, also energy. The way you were talking was more energetic, and that is needed probably now. And youth has to be, including women, have to be now brought up front and given opportunities and reorient our education agenda suitably, making our Krishi Vigyan Kendra now in a different context of not only frontline demonstration, but for skill development, for knowledge sharing, and for entrepreneurship. And the projection that you gave clearly reflects that you are knowledgeable of what are the issues and challenges and what is required to be done. And I do finally see in you a dynamism. I hope we wish you Godspeed in achieving this. And I'm sure Dr. B.P. Pal, wherever his soul is, would be happy that the first Director General of the system, seeing this system emerging as one of the best in the world. And let us strive for that. Let us nurture it and let us do our best, whatever we can, to the best of our ability. But no doubt would require reforms. And unless these reforms come in place, I as a president of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, had given one address, and the address title was "Change We Must," but change is difficult. But change also must come from within. It can't be imposed from outside. So if you get time, it is on the NAS website. Have a look at it, and the challenges that are there, like 33% of greenhouse gas emission from agriculture. We cannot continue with that. We will have to address it, and action should be at individual level. Not only you say government has to take care, whether it is water saving, like laser leveling example I said, each one should get his lands leveled. Or if it is reducing carbon emission, just a friend of mine, I think I mentioned that before, had a doctor, beautiful house built, and I was taken around, and on the top floor, I found that there was a string and clothes were hanging for drying. So I just, out of curiosity, asked him, why are you not having a dryer with so much of all other amenities in the house? He said, this is my contribution towards climate change. And that is that I want to save energy when I have so much of sunlight. not to dry by wasting electricity. A small step, or planting trees along the roads, or planting trees along the mates on the farm. These are some of the issues which can be taken up, and we have to think differently and see that we reduce by improving the living and better feeding of livestock, which contributes much higher emission. The first from the agriculture is livestock emission, and then rice cultivation, make rice more efficient, effective, direct seeding. There are opportunities, and I don't want to make another lecture on it, but he highlighted all these issues, and these issues need to be addressed and seen that the commitment, national commitment, which our Prime Minister has made, I think on 3, as far as Paris Agreement is concerned, we are progressing well of reducing emissions by going in for biofuel and going in for electric cars or going in for LED bulbs. All those are helping. And then generating solar power. I think we are perhaps in the global scenario number 1 or 2 now. And third one, which is more important, is the carbon sequestration. And our forests are really not that effective to provide our target of 33%. We have not been able to meet for last 2 decades. So we are stuck up at 25% as against 33% of the target. So you have to have carbon sequestration by 2 ways: agroforestry and conservation agriculture. ML is expert in conservation agriculture. I hope, ML, you will make our second green revolution from making gray areas green. Not by giving more water, but with whatever less water we have in that almost, we have 70 million hectares irrigated area, 77 million hectare irrigated area. The rest out of 140, 44 is all dry land. And globally, conservation agriculture has revolutionized the dryland agriculture through conservation agriculture. So I hope our focus will go, and those would require mission approach, and these missions will be put in place so that we are not left behind and are able to go forward. And Eastern India also offers another opportunity of another green revolution. So you have those opportunities, and good luck to you. And I would maybe ask you once again to give him a standing ovation for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for summarizing this talk in a very short time, and for your words of wisdom as well. Now it's time to honor the speaker and the chair. I would like to request the director, sir, dean, ma'am, everyone to please come in the middle. Volunteers. Speaker, Dr. Emil Jas. I would like to request the chairman, sir. Chairman, sir. The whole program has been organized by the Graduate School IARI and the Genetics Club. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request President Genetics Club, Dr. H.K. Dixit, sir, for a formal word of thanks.
Highly esteemed Dr. M.L. Jatt, Secretary Dear and Director General ICR and Chief Guest and Speaker of today's BP Pal Memorial Lecture, most respected Padma Bhushan Dr. R.S. Paroda, former Secretary Dear and Director General ICR and Chairman of today's program, Honorable Dr. C.H. Srinivas Rao, Director IRI, respected Dr. Anupma Singh, Dean Graduate School, distinguished dignitaries, head of the divisions, professors, faculty members, and students. It's my proud privilege to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Genetics Club and the Graduate School. We express our deep and most sincere thanks and gratitude to the chief guest, Dr. M.L. Jatt sir, a renowned researcher, eminent academician, and administrator, for his gracious presence and impactful presentation of Dr. B.P. Pal Memorial Lecture on transitioning from commodity-centric agriculture to agri-food systems. Sir, we learned a great deal from your experience. We would strive hard to transform your vision into reality. Thank you, and thank you very much indeed, sir. We do not have words to express our gratitude for Dr. Paroda sir for gracing the occasion, introducing the speaker, summarizing the proceedings, and guiding us for Viksit Bharat. I would like to thank our beloved director, Dr. C.H. Srinivas Rao sir, for guiding, leading, and motivating us to strive for excellence. Words may fall short to express my thanks for our most dynamic Dean Madam, Dr. Anupma Singh. We extend our sincere thanks and gratitude to audience and all those who have contributed in organizing the function. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, group photograph, ma'am. Can we assemble? If you have time, ma'am. If you have time, then we can assemble. Okay, then. Thank you very much, sir. We have snacks here for everyone. Please collect your snacks from outside.